There are 3,194 billionaires in the world. You are about to become one of them. Not in real life, for the next 15 minutes. Forget what you have seen on Instagram. Forget the yachts, forget the watches, forget the rented Lamborghinis with rented houses behind them. This is a real week in the life of a self-made tech billionaire. The kind nobody posts about, the kind nobody films, the kind that exists at the very top of a wealth ladder most people will never climb high enough to even look at. You will see what he eats for breakfast, who he calls, what he refuses to do anymore. The exact moment Tuesday morning where being a billionaire feels nothing like the fantasy. The exact moment Friday afternoon where it feels like everything the fantasy promised, but for reasons no one ever told you. You sold your company 2 years ago. 8 figures became 10 figures, became $1.4 billion after taxes. This is your life now. Let's go. Monday, the wake up, 5:42 a.m. You wake up before the alarm. You always wake up before the alarm now. The body remembers something the brain has been trying to forget for 30 years. Your bedroom is not what most people would expect. It is large, but not gigantic. The view through the window is mountains. You bought this house 12 years ago when the company was worth $80 million. You could buy a house 10 times bigger now. You have not. You walk barefoot to the kitchen. Make coffee yourself. There is a private chef on staff for dinners and weekends. Mornings, you do alone. Coffee, a piece of fruit, 2 minutes of staring at nothing through the window before the first thought arrives. The first thought used to be, what fires need to be put out today? Now the first thought is, what do I actually want to do today? Most people will never understand the difference between those two thoughts. The first one runs your life. The second one means your life is finally yours. You take your phone off the nightstand. You do not check email. You stopped doing that 18 months ago. 2 assistants now triage everything. Your phone has 11 unread messages. 3 are from your wife. 2 are from your kids. The other 6 can wait until Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. when your assistant gives you the curated summary. This is the first thing being a billionaire actually buys you. Not the cars, not the houses. Time without urgency.
Monday, continued. The family office. 8:30 a.m. Your driver pulls up. Yes, you have a driver. You did not have one at $10 million. You did not have one at $100 million. You hired your first driver at $400 million. Not for the luxury, but because the time you spent driving was now mathematically more expensive than someone else's time driving. That is how every decision works at this level. Time is the only currency that matters. Your office is not in the company you sold. It is your family office, a small private firm that manages your capital, your investments, your family trust, your foundation, and the dozen private companies you now have stakes in. There are 11 people who work for you here. You know all their names. You know their kids' names. The morning meeting is 1 hour. You review 3 potential investments. You decline 2. You greenlight 1. A $14 million check into a biotech company you have been watching for 9 months. The founder reminds you of yourself at 32. You spend 45 minutes with your CFO going over Q3 family office returns. The portfolio is up 11% year to date. The hedge against market downside performed exactly as designed. You moved 8% of liquid assets into treasury bills 6 weeks ago because you read something that made you nervous. You read for 12 hours a week. Every billionaire I have studied does. The reading is not entertainment. It is the input that keeps the judgment sharp. The judgment is what made you. The judgment is what keeps you. By 11 a.m., you are done with work for the day. Not because there is no more work, because you have learned that working past the point of maximum useful focus is how good investors become bad ones. Tuesday, the trainer. You hired the best fitness coach in the world. Not the most famous, the best. There is a difference. The most famous trains celebrities for magazine covers. The best trains operators, special forces, surgeons, executives whose bodies need to function at peak capacity for 30 more years, not look good on Instagram for 3 months. His name is Marcus. He charges $15,000 a month. You have been training with him for 4 years. You are 54 years old and in better physical condition than you were at 38. This is the second thing being a billionaire actually buys. Access to the best of everything. Not the most expensive, the best. There is a difference, and the difference matters. The session is brutal. Strength, mobility, cardiovascular work. Marcus does not let you cheat. He does not care that you are a billionaire. He has trained presidents and admirals. Your money does not impress him. Your effort does. The dynamic is healthy. The dynamic is rare. After training, you eat exactly what your nutritionist programmed for you. Eggs, Greek yogurt, berries, black coffee. The nutrition is calibrated to your blood work, which is run quarterly. You did not have any of this at $10 million. At $10 million, you had a gym membership and a couple of supplements. The compounding of optimal physical maintenance over a decade is something most people never get to experience. Your knees do not hurt. Your back does not hurt. You sleep 7 hours and 40 minutes a night on average. The richest people in the world are not necessarily the ones with the most money. They are the ones with the most days. You are buying days now, with every workout, every meal, every meditation session. That is what the money is for. Wednesday, the speech. You fly commercial today. First class, but commercial. Not because you cannot afford a private jet. You can. You own one. A fractional share for distances over 4 hours. Today's flight is 2 hours. Commercial first class is faster door-to-door than the private terminal once you factor in the drive. The math wins. The optics lose. You stopped caring about the optics around the same time you crossed $300 million. You are speaking at a tech conference, not because they are paying you, though they are, $85,000 for the keynote. You speak because there is a 22-year-old founder in the audience who needs to hear something today that will change the trajectory of his next 10 years. That is the only reason you accept speaking engagements anymore. You walk on stage, 4,000 people. The energy is electric. You do not read from notes. You tell 3 stories from your career. The failure that almost killed the company in year 4. The moment you almost sold for too little in year 9. And the conversation with your father in year 14 that changed how you thought about wealth permanently. Standing ovation. Backstage afterward, 3 founders are waiting for you. You give each of them 4 minutes. You do not check your phone while they speak. You write down 2 things from each conversation in a small notebook. One of those founders, you will remember her name in 8 months when she sends you a deck. The check you eventually write her will be $11 million. That is the third thing being a billionaire actually buys. The ability to pay attention to people who are about to become important before anyone else knows they are about to become important. Thursday, the family day. You are home today, deliberately. You blocked Thursday on your calendar 3 years ago. The block is permanent. Nothing goes in it. No meeting, no call, no deal, no exception. Thursday is family. Your daughter is 19, your son is 16. Your wife runs her own foundation focused on early childhood literacy. The 4 of you eat breakfast together every Thursday morning. Real breakfast, not protein shakes. Eggs your wife makes, pancakes when the kids request them. You drive your son to school yourself, same school he has been at since 4th grade. The other parents at drop-off do not know exactly what your net worth is. They know you are wealthy. Most of them assume single-digit millions. The discretion was deliberate from the beginning. You have lunch with your daughter. She is home from her sophomore year of college. She is studying biochemistry. She is going to be either a doctor or a scientist. She has asked exactly twice in her life how much money you have. Both times, you told her the truth. Both times, she did not bring it up again. You did not buy your kids cars when they turned 16. You did not put them on private jets for spring break. You did not give either of them an unlimited credit card. What you gave them was the same thing your father gave you. The experience of having to figure things out. The experience of consequences. The experience of being someone whose worth is not measured by their parents' net worth. That is the 4th thing being a billionaire actually buys. The hardest thing money can buy. the discipline to not give your children everything money can buy. Friday, the quiet hour. Friday afternoon, 4 p.m. You are in your office at the family compound. The door is closed. The phone is in another room. There is one notebook open on the desk and a fountain pen that costs $12,000 and writes exactly the same as a $4 ballpoint. You spend 1 hour every Friday afternoon doing nothing but thinking. This sounds simple. It is the hardest hour of your week. You write down what went well, what did not, what is shifting in the world, what deals you should consider in the next 6 months, what relationships need attention, what you have stopped paying attention to that you should. You write down the names of people you have not contacted in too long. By the end of the hour, you have made a short list of 7 people. You will reach out to all 7 by Sunday night. This is the 5th thing being a billionaire actually buys: the willingness to think when there are 47 things demanding immediate action. The discipline to choose the slowest, most expensive activity in the world, silent reflection, over the fastest, most exciting ones. Most billionaires are not smarter than you are. Most billionaires are not luckier than you are. Most billionaires built a life where they have 1 hour a week, protected, defended, sacred, to think. You have had this hour every Friday for 19 years. It is the most expensive hour of your week, and the hour that produces almost everything you have built. Saturday, the quiet wealth. Saturday is the day that surprises people the most when they hear about it. You have brunch with your wife at a small restaurant 15 minutes from your house. The restaurant is good, but not famous. The bill is $87. You leave a 30% tip not because you are showing off, but because you decided 15 years ago that you would always tip 30%, and you have never deviated since. You drive to a hardware store. You are fixing a fence post in the backyard. You could pay someone $400 to fix it. You do it yourself because the act of fixing something with your hands keeps a part of you alive that the family office cannot keep alive for you. In the afternoon, you read for 3 hours. A biography, 2 long-form articles, half a chapter of a book on the history of the Federal Reserve. In the evening, you go to dinner with 2 friends, both billionaires, both self-made, both people who have known you since before any of you had any money. You talk about your kids. You talk about a deal one of them is considering. You talk about what is wrong with the world. You do not talk about your portfolios. None of you have talked about your portfolios with each other in 20 years. The friendship predates the money. The friendship will outlast it. This is the 6th thing being a billionaire actually buys, and the thing nobody warns you about: loneliness if you do not protect your friendships. There are 3,194 billionaires in the world. You can count on one hand the people who knew you when you had nothing. Those people are not replaceable. The wealth makes them more important, not less. Most billionaires lose those friendships. You did not. That is the only thing about being a billionaire you would brag about, if billionaires bragged, which the real ones do not. Sunday, the full circle. Sunday morning, 5:42 a.m., same time you woke up Monday. You are sitting in the same kitchen, the same coffee, the same view, the same 2 minutes of staring at nothing. But something is different now. You felt it for the first time 3 months ago. It has been arriving more often since. You have everything most people spend their entire life trying to have: the freedom, the health, the family, the friendships, the intellectual stimulation, the ability to give, the ability to refuse, the protected hour every Friday, the mountains through the window. And you are sitting alone at 5:42 a.m. thinking about what comes next. Not financially. Financially, the math runs itself for the rest of your life and 3 generations after you. You could lose 90% of your wealth tomorrow, and your great-grandchildren would still be wealthy. What comes next is the question every billionaire eventually faces, and almost none of them answer publicly. What is this all for? The wealth was a means to an end at $10 million. By $100 million, it became its own scoreboard. By $1 billion, it stopped being either of those things. It became something stranger. A force you steward more than you own, a platform that asks you what you are going to use it for. Most billionaires never figure out the answer. They keep building, keep accumulating, keep protecting, until the day they die and the wealth is split, given, or lost. They never decide what it was for. You are 54. You have decided. You have decided that the answer is the 22-year-old founder backstage in Wednesday's auditorium. The $11 million check that lands in 8 months. The next 20 founders after her. The literacy foundation your wife runs. The scholarships you fund anonymously. The capital you deploy as a multiplier on someone else's idea. The wealth is not a destination. It is a printing press. And the only question worth asking, at the very top, at the very end, at the top of every Sunday morning for the rest of your life, is what you choose to print with it. There are 3,194 billionaires in the world. You will likely never meet one. Most of them will never meet you. They are not better than you are. They are not smarter than you are. They are not even necessarily more disciplined than you are. What they have is a structure that turned ordinary inputs, focus, time, judgment, patience, into an extraordinary output over the span of decades. The structure is not secret. The execution is. If this video showed you something about wealth you had never seen before, drop a comment below with the words, "I just learned this." Tell me which day surprised you most. Monday morning, Thursday family day, Friday's quiet hour, or Sunday's question. Subscribe to Philly Finance. The next video shows you exactly what happens at the very end of a billionaire's life, what they wish they had done differently when there is almost nothing left to fix. It is the most important video on this channel. You do not want to miss it. The structure builds the wealth. The wealth funds the life. The question is, what you do with the life once the wealth has built itself. I will see you in the next video.